Have you ever wanted a dog that could spew flames, or a mouse that could summon thunder? If so, Pokemon is for you. Pokemon was created in 1996 in Japan and became a franchise that spanned across all media. Pokemon has become a huge part of my life. For the last 15 years, I've been learning, playing, and experiencing Pokemon. Pokemon is a huge franchise, and maybe even you've heard about it. It's made billions through its genius marketing strategies. Let's go explore the games, the moneymakers, and the impact on our society. But what is Pokemon? Pocket Monsters, or Pokemon for short, was first released as games in 1996 as Red and Green in Japan. They were role-playing games, or RPGs, in which you took control of a 10-year-old boy, in which you had to catch and train Pokemon. While playing the game, you came into roadblocks called gyms, in which you had to defeat them in Pokemon battles. After defeating all 8 gyms, you made your way to the Pokemon League to fight the strongest trainers of them all and beat them and become the Pokemon champion, usually defeating an evil organization along the way. On February 27, 1996, Red and Green were first released for Pokemon. These games were a commercial success in Japan, and soon they were worldwide released as Pokemon Red and Blue. They featured 151 unique Pokemon, and with their success worldwide, sequels were bound to come. On October 15, 2000, Gold and Silver were announced. This added another 100 new Pokemon, and the franchise had just begun. On March 19, 2003, Sapphire and Ruby were released. These games added more Pokemon and double battles, which would become a big part of competitive Pokemon. On April 22, 2007, Diamond and Pearl were released. This added more Pokemon, and these were the first games to come out on the Nintendo DS. On March 6, 2011, Black and White came out. Then shortly after, on October 7, 2012, Black 2 and White 2 came out. These were the first games to expand on the story of the previous games. On October 12, 2013, Pokemon X and Y came out on the Nintendo 3DS. Then, on November 16, 2016, Sun and Moon came out. These were the games that came out worldwide. Then, on November 17, 2017, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon came out. Now, with these games, these were the last games to come out on the Nintendo 3DS system, and they had 802 Pokemon in their final release, according to Bulbapedia's website. Now, these are just the main Pokemon games. Pokemon has tons of side games, games where you play as the Pokemon, or pinball, where you just collect them with no battling. Pokemon has sold over 300 million copies, and it's still growing. After the success of the games, anime was sure to follow. An anime is a Japanese television or filmed animation, usually filmed towards adults or children. The anime aired in Japan on April 1st, 1997, and in the US it started in 1998. The story followed the character named Ash. Ash and his partner Pikachu were the main franchise. Pikachu is the main franchise hero of Pokemon, as they explored their ways and became to fulfill Ash's main dream of becoming a Pokemon champion. Inspired by the idea of collecting Pokemon, the Pokemon Company decided to release Pokemon cards. The first card set in the US to release was on January 9th, 1999, and this was called the base set, which had 107 cards. But now, as of today, 86 different expansions have been released, including the ones that had just released this November. Now, what do you do with these cards? You compete in tournaments worldwide, and you compete for the final tournament, where there's a prize of $25,000 in prize money. Not bad for a children's card game. Pokemon has tons of other merchandise. It has anything from clothing to Pokemon figures. But where can you buy all this? The Pokemon Center. That's where you can buy it. Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise of all time. $92 billion in profit, according to Title Max's website. $60 billion of that is merchandise only, not including the games, the cards, or the movies. Though it's made a lot of money, how has it impacted our society as a whole? Well, On July 6, 2016, one little game was released, Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go was a hit. As soon as it was released, it made it to the top charts in Apple stores, and it made $206 million in the first month alone. Though, sadly, according to the Pokemon Go death tracker, 19 deaths and 60 injuries happened because of Pokemon Go, whether people were not paying attention or took the game way too seriously. Pokemon has also made its way into popular TV shows and movies. It starred in the movie Detective Pikachu, which is a movie based off of a spin-off game, not even a main game. And it has also made into popular TV shows like Family Guy, Simpsons, House, Flash, and many more. It has even made its way into our political world, with Hillary Clinton saying, and I quote, "I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I've tried to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls." Though in conclusion, Pokemon is a giant franchise. It has affected me and thousands of other individuals. But in the end, all it is really about is having a little mouse Pokemon that can destroy your enemies. Oops. Here are the props again. I don't know if we have to show them, but I don't think the camera got a good view of them. I'm not just showing off. Maybe a little. And the mascot.